Hello and welcome to episode 29. This is now season 3 for us, and I believe that there's no better way to start a new season with someone starting a new innings after they've ended a very successful last innings. So I've got the one, the only Dinesh Kotha from the Confirmed Ticket founding family, as in the founder and CEO of Confirmed Ticket. Welcome, Dinesh. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anirudh. Thanks for inviting me. So Anirudh is one of our few first investors, and he was also board member for like first 3 years or so, and he supported a lot during the journey, and we'll be happy to share more in this show.
No, thank you so much, Dinesh. Before we even get into that journey, I think and that journey has its own journey that we had, multiple ones of them. But before we do that, I think let's why don't we discuss the journey that you've had so far and a wonderful ending to that journey that you had last week with ixigo obviously acquiring a majority interest in Confirmed Ticket, and unfortunately we had to part ways as investors or shareholders in your company, but we continue to get amazed by the incredible, I mean, a truly incredible journey of Confirmed Ticket. Over 10 million downloads of your app, and I remember that there was about 3 million monthly active users. Am I right? And these are numbers.
And now it is like 7 million monthly users and like 20 million downloads we crossed. Like
20 million downloads, 20 million, that's 2 crore. That's the number of people, that's the total number of people in the Mumbai metropolitan area, right? And that, I mean, honestly, these are the kind of numbers, Dinesh, that most platforms would kill to have, right? 7 million MAUs. And I remember, like, when we were doing the second tranche due diligence, we actually found people that were using your app 500 times a year. Do you remember that? And we found out that they were all travel agents, right? And so this was, I mean, this truly has been a incredibly high utility app, and I'm so happy for this journey where it's been and how it's got there. But before we get into all that fun stuff, Dinesh, let's talk a little bit about yourself. You are a graduate of NIT Jamshedpur in BTech, and when you were graduating from NIT, did you think you would be an entrepreneur? What was the career path that you had for yourself?
So I mean, like, so during my college days, also I used to like we used to do a lot of fun stuff. Like I used to had this dance club, and I actually dance. I think a lot of people don't know that. So I used to have this dance club, and used to also do some robotic stuff and all that. I mean, anything non this thing I used to do, and a lot of areas we used to work, like that's the interesting stuff. So this pic is
Is that you? Oh, nice.
yeah, that was me. I was like demonstrating one of my robots actually, right? So I mean, there's some fun stuff I did. So basically, during college days, it's more about, like, I had the best time, I would say, like meeting people or working on these stuffs and all. And definitely my grades have gone down working on all of this. But it's a nice experience. So I would feel like my leadership qualities and all also came due to that experience that I had over a period of time. And there are few friends of me during college who were actually fans of brands also. Like, I mean, one of my friend Hari actually joined me in Confirm Ticket now, and we were actually creating some small business plans and all. But I mean, not that I'm not that much interested in business at that stage, but more of like I want to solve like technical problems and all at that stage mostly, like. And there is an interesting thing I think I should share now. I think it's the right time. Maybe I share this thing. When I was leaving college, my friend gave this to me.
Yeah, what does it say? Remember, we are going to create the world's #1 company. Dream it. Oh wow, you should frame that. You can't just leave it like that, Dinesh. Like, it's like
This is like the last day of college, like almost 10 years back. I think so. That's this always stays in my wallet actually, right? So that's the interesting thing. I think right when I graduated, I think post that started working at IBM for a year. But thing is, it's a large company and didn't feel excited there. Then I started looking out for any opportunities there, working in any startup there. that's where I joined O9. O9, I mean, it was started by US based Sanjeev Sidhu, and so basically, O9 actually was solving enterprise problems there. I joined as a 10th employee there. The first 10 employees, and we were in a
Did
small
they call
room.
it did they call it O10 after you joined? Because it was
No, no, no.
09.
O9, I think they named O9 because there will be like 9 dimensions of any problem that can be solved. Kind of like I don't
I
know much
see.
about that, but I was a junior developer there. I joined as a software engineer, and there's so much I learned in the first 3 to 3.5 years. I think now they have like 700 employees in India and all, right? But it was first few employees. I think we enjoyed a lot, and we had that initial days of first 3 years that we had, and I think that helped a lot during my journey at ConfirmTkt, because I didn't feel so much difference here, because here there also it was small team, and during launching ConfirmTkt also it was a very small
Yep.
team. And, so I a lot of experience I had during O9, which I actually used building ConfirmTkt. So right from,
So
because
how long you were there for O9 for almost 4 years?
yeah, almost 4 years, and then it was tough
So when you
decision.
left, how many employees were there?
By the time I left, there were like 70 to 80 employees at that
Oh
time.
wow! And what was your role when you decided?
So I was still in the so I was one of the good contributors as a development engineer, and thing is, it was also a tough decision there, because I was having owning some stock there and all. So
Acha.
uh, I think definite just before the ConfirmTkt exit, actually O9 also became a billion-dollar company now, and all my friends there. O9 is a billion-dollar company now. It was funded by KKR recently, like 6 months back, and all my
Oh
friends there
wow!
became millionaires there, and that's a good part. That's a good part. I think that's a
Is that the reason why you exited ConfirmTkt as well? Now you're a millionaire.
not the reason, but I think so. There's nothing. I mean, it's just that when I calculated, it's a calculated risk that I've taken when we started
Yeah.
ConfirmTkt. We like, okay, I
No,
think
and honestly, it's not about the money. We were just having that conversation before we went live, right? I think it's about the journey. When you
yeah,
think
yeah, that's
about it, when you're hitting your 35, 40 years of age, it really is going to be those stories that you have that will define when you really create wealth, right? That the experiences in your quiver. And then after you left O9,
yeah.
you started a company called Meterup, right? That was your first
Yeah, so
startup.
Meetup was you. I mean, it's not actually a startup. I would say it's a part-time thing we were doing. It's an app that we built, me and Sripad, over a period of time. Where I mean, before ConfirmTkt, we were experimenting with multiple ideas, and this is one idea which actually clicked out. Right. This is because before Ola and Uber, there used to be all of even Ola used to be just a calling cab thing. Even Bangalore, people used to
Hmm.
call them and book a taxi there. So we made a service which like anybody can enter source and destination. It gives these options, and it gives a call button. People can just click on the call button and call their cab and all. This had some 10,000 downloads and all, but there's no revenue as such actually. So we got featured in some your story, and next week got all these guys. But thing is, this I mean, it just got stuck there. So there's nothing we can do beyond that. And
But it's
then
very interesting the approach, right? How did you get those 10,000 downloads? Again, we're not talking today's day and age when 10,000 is not a big number, right? You're talking like 2012, 13, 14.
yeah,
So,
13.
I mean, when there was like maybe 80 million people on the internet in India, maybe 50 million actually, and to get
Yeah.
10,000 downloads was actually a big thing. So, what was that secret sauce to get the first 10,000 downloads?
I would say it's more of an utility app. I would say, like, I mean, anything that utility you bring in, actually, if it has some value, actually definitely people will encourage you. That's what we build.
Hmm.
And being a free app is an advantage, wherein like people will continuously look at that, and continuously they take it to the. I mean, they use it, and that's. I mean, also we actually did a lot of this thing where we keep sharing that over news articles or anything and all. So those are the interesting stuff we tried, and I think these learnings also helped during launch of ConfirmTkt and all.
Because obviously, I think there was definitely something you learned at Meterup. Because when I look at the way you built a ConfirmTkt, and we'll come to what the genesis of the idea was. But what was like? When did you realize that this startup was not going to scale anymore? It's probably to shut it down. Meterup, right? Although it was part time, as you said. But When did you
Yeah,
realize this is probably not going to work out?
I mean the numbers are not growing much. I mean, let's just like 100 200 downloads a day and all. But thing is, I mean, Ola and Uber actually were started picking up then, and people doesn't need this app where like they specifically need they can actually auto taxi and all during Ola, using Ola and Uber, they can directly use it, right? So that's where we actually used it. But also one reason we did this actually is like. One of the auto guys cheated us in Bangalore. So that's also one thing, because we don't know the estimated fare, and I think just for let's say half a kilometer, once Sripad was landed in Bangalore, he was charged 100 rupees for half a kilometer because he doesn't know to reach the destination. So from Martali Market to Brand Factory, it's just 500 meters actually. I mean, that's where we felt like, okay, let's give this service, and people can actually enter source destination. They'll know the estimated auto fare also here, so they can actually negotiate with the auto driver. So that's also one. That's the reason we named it like Meterup kind of.
Okay, and it's interesting because I think that theme continuously plays even in ConfirmTkt, right? I think ConfirmTkt was also born out of a personal, experience in booking tickets, and that's how ConfirmTkt came around. Maybe could you share how that idea was germinated?
Yes. So basically, me and Sripad, I mean, both of us used to travel to Hyderabad twice. I mean, once in a week or once in a month or so. And that's where we were actually not getting any train tickets to travel. So we actually tried to check multiple trains, and some luckily one train used to always get confirmed if you book under 30 waiting list or 35 waiting list. So there are certain numbers. We felt like there's a pattern. Then we were always booking there. It's always used to get confirmed. Then we felt like, okay, I think it is working here. Let's see if it works for other trains. But the problem here is, I mean, we know our logic works for only Bangalore to Hyderabad, but we don't know if it works for all the other trains. So you need a lot of data for this thing to work out, right? So I mean, you just during the Meterup days itself, what we did is like we have written some data scrapers and all, so that we save this data every day for 2,500 trains. For 2 years, we saved just the data. It used to dump data every night, and there's nothing. We just waited for 2 years. So the 2 years data we have in 2014, with that data we analyzed and found that we are lucky that it worked actually. So there is a pattern, definite pattern. With 80% accuracy, we were able to predict that whether your ticket will get confirmed or not. So the first version we launched with simple things saying you enter your PNR or source and destination, we will tell you whether it will get confirmed or not. There's no other platform actually solving this problem. Actually, it's a massive problem, and every day like around 10 lakh tickets get booked, 40% are on waitlist and all. We did not expect the way people will react to that, but there is a huge rush of people just using this platform. So I think we felt like I think this is our time, so to move forward, and that's how it all.
But let's talk about this 2 years. I mean, people do not even save data for 20 days. And you for 2 years with no intention, no idea what you're going to build, you kept dumping data in one place for 2 years. Like what do you think was going to happen with this data? Did you have any inkling, or was it just like,
So
what do do it all the time?
I think actually we never thought we will build a big company out of ConfirmTkt. Actually, we thought like let's build one cool service which people will use, and millions of users let them use it like that. Actually, we felt like let's. I mean, we also felt this as one of the experiments. We thought actually like just like Meterup we did, let it be an experiment, and we one day we will see what happens, and that's how we
And
kept
what were
on.
you doing otherwise during those 2 years? You were still working at O9, and
Yeah,
where was
we were,
Sripad at that time?
yeah, we were still working at online, and Sripad actually moved to US during that time, and
Acha.
it was a painful for both of us to leave our jobs. He leaving a US job and me leaving a job here, and then trying to start this thing.
And then when did you decide? You know what? I think we have a business here. Why don't we get started? Like, what was that trigger? What was that trigger? Like, you know what, Sripad, leave your job. You come here. I'm leaving O9. I'm leaving all these millions of dollars of ESOPs, and I'm gonna start ConfirmTkt. Let's do this.
So basically, I mean, we were wanted to go, but we were still reluctant to whether when we launched ConfirmTkt when we were still working actually, and we had like 100,000 users, I would say at that time, 100,000 downloads, I would say, like before we actually came full time to this thing. So that's where we actually, before we left, we actually talked to multiple angels whether this is a good idea or not. We just for the validation and all. And at the same time, there used to be multiple interns used to work for ConfirmTkt just to build the UI and all back end. Somehow I built, and Sripad used to fund from US, so used to send every month some dollars, and I used to pay these interns and all. And that's when we met. We met few angels. Some of the angels said like, okay, you go ahead, but you need to quit your job. Then only we're going to give you some money.
Very true.
And
That's right.
yeah.
Do you
So
think
if
do you think that was fair for the angels to ask you to quit your job?
yeah, that's completely fair, right? I think that's completely fair because under this 100% commitment, even from founder, I don't think angels would invest actually. So,
Yeah.
so
I agree. I think it's a very important. I mean, if you don't have skin in the game, and you've got your because I don't think unless you had quit, this would have ever been a big company either. Because I mean, we're going to go through the challenges, but there was significant challenges, and it was very easy to quit if you have something else going on, right?
Yeah, that's the important thing. But what the bad thing that we did is like we estimated saying like, okay, I have my PF and all. I'll save this. I put everything there and said like, okay, every month I'm going to draw this much amount from my PF and everything that I have. I felt like, okay, for 6 months I'll do this, and post that I think we are going to rise one more round, and things will be okay. I think that's where we realized that just to get back to the same salary we used to get, it took us like 3.5 years. So
Yeah.
so that was, yeah. So it's a long journey which we did not anticipate, and definitely everybody should take that into consideration.
No, I think at least anybody starting out, you're right. Should at least budget for 3 years of no salary. I mean, you might get salary that is only going to augment it, but you're not going to get enough salary to whatever you would call market rate, right? And you're not going to get that. So I remember I remember meeting you guys. Before that, you also met Praveen, right? And Praveen pretty much wrote the first 25 lakhs into the company. How did you guys meet him? What was that meeting like?
So that is when I was saying like he's the one who said like, oh, you need to come full time, then only I'm going to. So Praveen actually, when we were actually posting in all Facebook groups and all saying we have this cool app, anybody wants to invest and all. Then I mean sometimes we used to get all random messages, but nobody used to give anything. Same way when Praveen messaged, we also felt like I mean Praveen also might be just talking, but we can't expect anything. But he met us in one coffee day in Bangalore, and he told us to come back with the business plan, and we don't know what is a business plan actually. Then we came with some random numbers and all, and then he said like, this is not the business plan. You actually come back with actual plan with all projections and all. Then we came back. He said like, okay, I'm in, but you should leave your job. Then and that's when actually we decided like, okay, let's do this, and it worked out post that. And as you know, like the second round.
But so for people to know Praveen that we're talking about, Praveen Agarwal, who is the founder of Better Place, right? And Better Place itself is a very well-funded company. I think it's worth something between 50 to 80 million at this point. And he's also a very prolific angel, known for writing these early checks. And what was the experience like? Because before you met me, there was already a bit of handholding that was already going on with Praveen, and he was on the board as well. What I remember, right? He's a pretty cool guy, pretty sorted and very.
So one important mistake we did is like he gave us the first check. Like I mean, he gave like first thing like he said like he gave us 5 lakh check, and the biggest mistake we did is like we went ahead and bought 2 laptops, 1 lakh each.
I remember the story.
So then he said like, what will you do with the remaining money? We said like we'll have one good office, then money will get over, we'll again get one more check. He said like, okay, stop. This is not the way to manage your money, and you should always be asset light, and till you are so much profitable in any business, be more asset light. And I think those are the only laptops we bought post that. Even now all the 40 employees have all the laptops are rented only, so we don't have any. ConfirmTkt doesn't have any assets. Even though ixigo bought us, we don't have any assets. Even the ACs in the office are on rent. everything on red.
And
Even
is the same ACs that you guys bought in the last round that I remember in the conference.
we got upgraded to 5-star once, so we got that used to take so much money and all. So,
But I remember meeting you. I think we met at the NASCOM event, and then and you were presenting over there. And it was a very interesting meeting because I think the way you guys were thinking about the business, right, and initially just thinking about user acquisition was very interesting. There was let me be clear, there was no business model when you guys came. It was like we're going to build this thing, but I like the way you called it a door-to-door booking. I think that came up during our conversation. But what was it? What did you expect? Like when you came and pitched, right, to me at that time, and then obviously later on to BCAT. What was your expectation? Like what were you thinking we're going to do funding?
actually, that was a bad phase, actually, I would say, because I think whatever Praveen and one of our friends gave, the money is running out in just 1 month.
Yeah.
So it was in December, and I don't know if you know the story. We were at the NASCOM entrance, and I think we got invited for this VC Connect and all, right? This
Yeah.
Angel Connect. But we didn't buy any tickets. So at the entrance, they stopped us saying, "You both of you should pay 4,000 each." And we were like, "We just have little money in the bank. Should we pay or just go away?" And all. We were discussing. We thought, okay, one of us will be staying here and one of us will go away. And when we were discussing, one of the guy from inside, Ravi, actually called us saying like, "Okay, don't pay, just come inside and all." That's how we came inside.
Yeah.
And
First floor. Yeah. I
yeah,
remember.
first we met both of you. I think we met multiple guys on that day, but we actually were like, uh, we were actually thinking like, I mean, nobody would actually fund us. Actually, we were thinking that day, and I think we met you, we met Apurva, and so I think you were more interested because you were more interested in the travel space altogether, and because of multimodal travel that you heard here. And that's where I think post a week we received a call from you and Apurva on this thing. And I think just within just 2 weeks we got the money so that we settled all the salaries and all. So it was a good, would say like, I don't know. Somehow I feel like there's always luck with the ConfirmTkt at the right time. Right things keep happening, and that's a good thing.
But you know what? It's funny, and we've discussed luck in previous episodes, Dinesh. I think luck is only possible if you're prepared. If you're not prepared,
Yeah.
then you could be given an opportunity, but you can't capitalize on it. So in many ways, I mean, those think about it. 2 years you're collecting data, no idea what you're going to do with it, and today it ends up being those 2 years. I mean, if you really think about those 2 years of effort, is what has created value today. And if that wasn't there was no business in the first place. So let's talk about the pitch, right? Because you were the first deal that Venture Catalyst ever did, and that at that time I was one of the board members at Venture Catalyst, and I remember there was a massive room. There was a big party almost that was created because that was literally was Venture Catalyst's first pitch day, right?
Yes.
And I remember there was a massive room, and there was all these shenanigans going on at that time. What was it like? It's one thing to pitch maybe 50 angels. I think there was like 500 people over there.
Yeah, actually, it was the worst pitch, I would say. It was, if it was not, I wouldn't have started. Actually, when I talked and post that, I think you came on stage and said like good things about ConfirmTkt. I think whatever I performed was very bad. Like I was just talking like anything there, not prepared, and I think yeah, I think I got evolved now. But at 5 years back, I was like not that sure of talking on stage and all.
No, but yeah, I mean, I remember that, but and then I remember we were standing outside and having a conversation about your round, and before I think I had another flight to catch or something. I don't remember, uh, but what was this? Let's talk about now how you built those first 100,000 users at ConfirmTkt, right? They're a very interesting 10 rupee. You had a sub 10 rupee customer acquisition cost, right? And I remember like we were just amazed, like how did you achieve that? Because and I think you have a sub 10 rupee CAC even today, right? So you've
Yeah, yeah.
reached 20 million users with a very minimal CAC. How do you achieve that?
So initial days we used to have this multiple things like one of the experiments we ran is the invite user flow, wherein like if you invite your friend and he downloads, you get 10 rupees in your wallet, or we used to give free charge voucher there. And that's one thing that worked. But we used to get a lot of spam also sometimes, and we had to restrict it to certain extent and all. But one important piece that worked for is like in October, I think in October of 2014, and also I think one newspaper, one Hindi newspaper actually covered us, some Dainik Jagran or something. And that day, I think I'm in my office. Usually there used to be like 10 to 20 parallel users on ConfirmTkt, and that day when I was in office at like in the evening at 4 o'clock or something, I received an alert saying like your servers are full, or there are 900 users live now. I was like, wow. How come 900 users on our platform? Is just a small platform and all. Then I searched on Google and found out that article, and 2 3 newspapers actually covered that. And that, I think that's also a turning point for us, I would say. Like so how did that happen? It's not that a random thing. It's just that every day people used to keep mailing some journalist or something.
Yeah.
Someone will pick it up, and we need to keep pushing there, and something should happen. So that's a turning point, I would say. But, yeah.
And you should definitely talk about it, Dinesh, because I found, I mean, Shripad obviously being the person, because he's just relentless with this kind of stuff, right? But the kind of PR he kept getting, right? I think there was a very key feature there. I think many founders, and this is a problem I see across many portfolio companies, is that they don't like doing PR. They almost think that it's almost like they're promoting themselves to do something. But I feel that they don't realize if it takes about 6 to 8 months of effort before you'll ever see any value out of PR. But when you do, this is what happens, right? You suddenly go from 10 15 users, and you're wondering how you're going to get this thing over the hump. And next thing you know, there's 900 to 1,000 users there, and 1,000 becomes a million. You don't even realize. So, what would your if there was a founder today who's got that's a significant traction, may not already be at millions of users, but what would your advice be to them about PR? How should they do it? If they, I mean, not everybody will have a Shripad, so just remember that. Not everyone will have a Shripad.
Yeah. So I would say it's more about getting in touch with these guys, and since you have value, you can keep showcasing. If people are going to like your product, they'll be happy to pick it up. And I think we are covered in almost every newspaper in the country in first 2 years of itself, right? Because it's a new product, and it's not, nobody heard of it anywhere actually. So people like that. And most important thing that's with PR is that adds a lot of trust on the platform. So right from the beginning, we always believed that if people trust our platform, we should keep that. At some point, we launch something, and they will keep paying us. So that's the most important thing. We always kept in, like, we should keep building that trust over a period of. Let's say we are selling train tickets now. If people start trusting ConfirmTkt as a brand, they'll continuously buy whatever we sell. I mean, like it's all about building that trust over a period of time. It takes decades for brands to build the trust, like Reliance, Tata. All of these guys took so many years. I mean, this trust actually takes decades actually to get. It's very hard. So it's going to be a long journey. So that's where we felt like, we should actually put this.
But when I met you guys, there still wasn't a revenue model, right? And I think initially there wasn't really a revenue model. At least the first few board meetings were just concentrating on user growth, and then really the question came, listen, how are we going to make money out of this? We can't just keep having users. So when did you decide, okay, how do you come up with that revenue model? Like, how are we going to make money?
So actually, one biggest mistake we did is, like, we were always fascinated by all the Western stories of consumer internet firms like Facebook, Twitter, and all of these guys. And once they have 1 million users, they used to keep making so much money. And we felt like, okay, the same money can be built here. And very few consumer internet firms should be there, like Zomato and all at this time. And even there, we don't know about that revenues and all that making. But once we actually started, like, we thought, like, the first revenue model for any consumer internet firm is going to be like ad revenue. And once we launched, we realized that the revenue you're going to make is almost like 1/10 of what you actually expected. All our projections are based on all US CPMs and all.
Yeah.
But when we actually made money, it was like peanuts actually. I mean, you have million users, and you make like hardly 1 lakh, 2 lakhs a month, and it doesn't. No investor actually is interested in such kind of revenue, right? So
Yeah.
that's where we realized that this has to move forward, and I think we had you also pushed to change the business model and continuously make it evolve it in such a way, like we need to experiment with new business models. That's where we added this new direct sales in ads and food bookings, a lot of things we tried, and that's how it all evolved.
And how was it like? Like once I know it was almost about 2 years in when you before you started generating revenues, but what was that? What was that feeling like to finally have revenues? Did that need to further validation beyond just investment?
Yeah, so most important thing with revenue you get is the confidence actually, right? I mean, you don't need to run behind investors or all stuff because you have that confidence at the end of the day because your customer is paying. As you always say, right? Customer money is the most important money you should always run for. So that's the most important thing. And once customer starts paying you, that's where you realize that. That's when we actually felt like real guys that actually who is doing business. So till that point, we were like, okay, we are just building something cool out there, and I think as a person also, me and Sripad actually evolved a lot. First, because this is the first thing. Because over 5 years we have grown a lot, I would say, and it's a good thing.
And I remember now we can probably talk a little bit about the challenges, right? I think you talked about this a little bit with Vishal Krishna of your story also in a recent article about how initially, because you're trying to chase these metrics that you're talking about and not chasing growth, you got to a situation where you were almost bankrupt again, right? And then from there, having to turn everything around, and because investors obviously were not the numbers you're talking about would not encourage people to put money. Yes, you are down, lots of downloads, lots of stuff happening, but it's not really leading to money in the bank, right? And you had to make very hard changes because you obviously had a lot of great people working, and many of them were also close friends. What was that decision like? When you say, what, we need a new path for this company, and maybe not everybody that we currently have is going to be able to come on that path. Was How did you guys make the decision? Because it was difficult for you. You like to be liked, right?
Yeah, that was the toughest phase, I would say. Like the first those days, like so we were like 3 months behind in our salaries and all, and yet to get money from the next round of money from the investors and all, and there were some hard decision to be made, like how do we cut our run rate, I mean burn rate to half and make sure like we survive and all of the stuff. And in this path we need to actually cut down the team into half also, right? I think that was the first experience of firing somebody myself, and I think I was never been a manager at the company also to fire anybody also, right? I could not sleep for like 2 to 3 days during that phase, and but actually, if I look back now, right, I mean, all these people who moved out of ConfirmTkt, they actually got settled at right positions, and they're at right places actually, right? So there are no regrets as such, right? And I mean, there used to be one employee who I felt like I actually felt like we need to handhold him to so that he joins somewhere. So I was just following up with him, and finally, after a month, he found a job and he got it. But I think it's a as people, right, we also have a lot of empathy on these guys, and we need to move forward as a team. But post that, we have evolved. I mean, we as Sripad, we actually became better persons. I would feel like we are very strong now in terms of managing money, managing finances, and all of things. Like even during COVID situation, we planned for all the four types: plan A, B, C, and the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario
Oh
is
man,
like
you just made me proud. We can end the episode right now. This is it. You and
uh,
Sleeper are managing my life that way. I mean, this is it. Like
yeah.
XXix,
So
what they've just got on board.
the worst case scenario is like the train's not going to run for 12 months, and we'll still survive. And so I mean,
But that's a great feeling, right? I mean, and we'll talk about like the month before this whole thing happened. I still remember Sripad's long message and the long email he sent out about himself. But I definitely want to come back and just talk about one thing. And you made a very, very, very important point here. that the people you had to let go, you might have felt bad about it, but all of them, like you said, are in the right places today. So sometimes holding on to people actually works in their worst interest. You may think that it's bad for them, but they actually got better jobs that they were suited for, and they're in better places today. So in many ways, I think letting people go is a very important part of entrepreneurship. And in many ways, I remember that some of those were also driven by the board. So we were part of that board and trying to push you guys to say, listen, you can't just keep people around, right? You have to make sure they produce and they perform, and it unlocks something. And look at it. I mean, you guys are doing great, and they're doing great, right? And the intent was obviously not to say, listen, you have to fire people, but the point was like let the low performers go, so that there will be low performance for you, but great performance for somebody else.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you were actually one of the first companies where I implemented that week by week Excel model, and I remember like it just had such. I mean, like, do you guys still use that or?
Yeah, so currently we track on a daily basis also few numbers, and over a weekly there are multiple other things. So usually, currently I don't get involved in basic stuff as of now. So I get a picture of every department over a period of week, and every day there is a process report that I get. So I go through that every day and go deeper if something is not working, and so over a monthly there are other things which we take, like other values we check. So
No, great. I mean, like you said, even if your departments are reporting by the week, that's at least you've got your numbers in front of you. Let's now talk about this moment, and we're pretty much coming to the last 15 minutes or so before rapid fire comes in. But in February, right, and you guys have tried raising, trying to raise money from multiple different investors. Things weren't working out, but you decided, what, screw the investors. Let's just focus on the customer, and the customer will fund us, right? And then you went on to build a fantastic business. I think when you change the mindset from raising money from investors to raising money from customers, something very critical happened in the company, right? Talk a little bit about that. What was that decision, and how did you guys transform the entire company towards revenue?
So basically, we experimented with all the revenue channels, like, but the core piece that we missed is actually like the transactional layer, right? That's what even now Zomato is going into the transaction. So for India specific, that's the best way to actually monetize any solution, right? Ad revenues are all very low in India because ECPMs are very low, and even big companies like Facebook and all, they don't make money here. They only have MAU forms here, which they can showcase in US, and their valuation keep increasing, which we realized lately. So the most important thing here is like, how do we make money through transactions, right? So we felt like, okay, now we have this opportunity. Let's build the best train ticket booking platform out there, and we launched in 2017. There are already 20 players with the licenses by that time, right? And we were like at the bottom. So we started on the first day. There were no bookings actually. Right? So by the evening, we felt like, I think this might fail or so, and we just hold it for that. And within a week, we reached a state we were doing like 50 bookings a day and all. And then we actually started pushing it further. And so we actually made sure we actually this time we decided something, that let's only 50% of the time we'll focus on product and 50% on growth, majority on the growth. So whatever is working, let it work. So there are two things, right? Right, that there will be some negative things, some positive things in any company. So you need to accelerate the positive things so that your negative things will keep let it be. So we felt
Makes
like,
sense.
let all negative things be. Let people get some people might get some bad experience and all. Let's not hold. Let's push the growth so much so that this positive will always outshadow the negative stuff. So we have grown. I mean, like, now we do like 35,000 plus tickets every day, and that's not a small number. Like a 3 crores turnover every day is like even a big shopping mall. Also, I don't know if they will get that.
Dinesh, can you tell everybody how much money you've actually raised in lifetime, in the lifetime of your company?
It's hardly 1.5 crore that we raised. So, I mean,
1.5 crore rate, 3 crore a day in turnover, right? And this is what I mean. It's just mighty proud to be part of that cap table, knowing what you guys are doing. And I think you brought up a very important point, right? Like, sometimes we get stuck with some people having a bad experience, and trying to deliver a good experience to everybody is never going to happen. right? But like you said, if you can just focus on the good people and just make them massive, those bad experiences, yes, they'll be there, but as a percentage, they'll be very low. And
Yeah.
and that culminated in February. You guys had a very important milestone that you guys hit. Can you February 2020, right? You guys had a very important milestone.
So we did like a 1 crore profit in a single month. Actually, like that's all our investors were amazed by this thing. Like even Anirudh sent us an email, like I'm not sure what I have seen is correct or not. That's, I think Anirudh you have felt the same way. Like maybe there is some issue with the numbering or something, or an additional zero there or something. But the numbers are good, and if it is not COVID, actually, it would have been much better journey. But
Yeah.
I mean, things are okay. I mean, we are getting back on track. So, thing is, that's an important, very important milestone actually. Getting 1 crore profit in a single month is a great milestone, I would feel. Even for the entire company, all the employees who worked for the past, I mean, some of them actually stayed right from the beginning, and I mean, for all of them, I mean, it's working out very well. So all of them own some part of this company, and I think we in January we have visited. We had this annual team outing. Every
Yeah.
January we have, but this time unfortunately we couldn't have. So yeah, so we had a great team.
And still working out of the same offices that where we started.
Yeah. So currently everyone is working out of home itself. So we just have the office. Actually, we vacated one floor and currently just kept one floor just for the standby kind of thing.
I remember
So
our first offices. We used to have a round table, which was a glass table, which two people could not put their hands together on. But that was our conference room table, right? And that was
yeah,
it fit. We were confirmed to get. Now let's talk about three things you're most proud of, right, from your 6 year journey at ConfirmTkt. If you could just pick out three moments that make you super proud, what would those three moments be?
three moments actually. I think the first thing is leaving the job is the first thing, the most important thing that I did, and took the guts for that. And second thing, I
That
don't
made you
say.
proud.
Yeah. So second most important thing is venturing into these transactions, I would say. So
Hmm.
the transaction business, that's the most important turning point, I would say, for our company. And the third is, I would say, this is the whatever happened now, the deal. And because I'm so much proud, because adding so much, it's not that easy to multiply money or adding so much wealth, and same time, a lot of employees also will have better opportunities in future, and that's a most important thing.
That's great, and I think one of the most important things that you brought to the table and from your journey is that that user growth is important, but so important is also to drive revenues. And
Mm.
it's almost a taboo word sometimes. People don't want to drive revenues. I mean, founders feel like driving revenues is like the plague. But honestly, what you've proven to the entire ecosystem that you can actually drive revenues and build a very good sustainable business, which
Mm.
can create amazing results. We will talk about the Ixigo deal and everything that's happening at Ixigo, and it's been all over the news, obviously.
Mm.
But before that, I think you were number 3 or 4 in India at the time, as the number one rail booking platform, right? I think first was Paytm. This is obviously outside of IRCTC. It's Paytm first, then was PhonePe, then was ConfirmTkt, or then was Ixigo, and then was ConfirmTkt. How was the
Yeah,
split?
number two and three, and Ixigo and ConfirmTkt, we used to switch places multiple times. And initially, it used to be Ixigo, and we are like now it's switching between both of us. So combinedly, we became number one now, and that's an important thing with this journey,
How
actually.
important is it to be number one in your category? I think that's something that I tell investors all the time and founders, like whatever you do, you got to be number one or two in India.
So it is pretty much important, because we can deliver standardized experience across both the brands, and at the same time we can actually deliver a lot of things. I mean, we can work together with the railways or the IRCTC platforms and all to enhance the experience of these users. And at the same, I mean, if you're doing, let's say, if you're hardly doing 1,000 bookings, there nobody's going to listen to you or make any structural changes in the entire industry, right?
Yeah.
If we are contributing like let's say 70,000-80,000 tickets every day, and we are talking about 7-8% of railway revenue itself, right? So So
Right.
it's going to create a massive impact for the end, I mean, for the railways as well as IRCTC, and it's going to, I mean, if there are any enhancements that we can do, it will be pretty much good thing for the entire industry altogether. And and at the end of the day, we all of us want to help the end customer, right? And it might be reduction of the charges, or it might be anything.
Yep.
It might be enhancing their experience. It might be giving the best experience, because India is moving in so very good direction, wherein like a lot of millennials incomes are increasing, everything is increasing, and people want better experience in everything,
Yep.
right? So next, this complete decade is going to be a very good decade, wherein like if people are actually, I mean, everybody going to pay. People will be having so much very good incomes and all. They'll be happy to pay if you're going to give good service, right? So if they are going to pay, we are going to take that money and we'll give the best experience. That's what it is. Like if people are going to pay,
I just love what's happened. 5 years ago, we had Dinesh who wasn't trying to charge anybody. Now it's like now if they have money, they're gonna pay. They're gonna pay. Confirm it. It's such a big transformation.
yeah,
Uh, Dinesh, before we move on to Ixigo, I have one very critical question. That the issue of copying you, right? So I remember that many other platforms tried copying ConfirmTkt in terms of its prediction algorithm, right? And in fact, even IRCTC itself came up with their own prediction algorithm. But that did not deter you at any time. I don't remember having this conversation. You were like, listen, our algorithm is better than that. And if they're copying, it validates us.
because anything that you do in internet business or any business, I would say like maximum shelf life will be like 4 years for anything, right? So we built prediction like 6 years back. I would say, like, I mean, it's in these 4 years, everybody has now the prediction. So there might be difference in accuracy. We might be 95%, they might be 90, somebody 85, but everybody has that because it validates that people need this product and everybody knows that. And then that's where we launched the alternative options, where we combine two trains or multiple trains and all. Now also some of the platforms already launched that features and all. And people, I mean, venturing into transactions. So majority of the people are actually venturing into transactions. So now we launched a new feature, free cancellation option. We are the first ones to launch the free cancellation option for the trains and all. And now some of the players started making it, but it's only Ixigo is live with the feature so far. And thing is, I mean, whatever you do, we should remember that 4 years, and you should come up with a new innovation. You can't just for the lifetime, you can't feel like nobody will going to copy me and I'm going to make money for this. Any company will die if you just don't innovate.
So important. I think, and I don't know how did you come up with this 4 year number though. I've never heard somebody say, oh, it's 4 years. And
But I mean, it's only own experience. Also, I felt like I think in 4 years like that. I think I heard it somewhere, and I've seen the patterns also. Like anything, even
yeah,
let's say in new technology, let's say
it makes
electric.
logical sense. I mean, what you just said, I think 4 years is the right shelf life.
Yeah,
But
when even if electrical car built by Tesla in 4 years, actually everybody will have their electric cars. It might be slightly not better than Tesla, but everybody will have that this thing. But it's
they'll
only
be
the
close
Tesla.
enough. There's
Yeah,
not enough differentiation left.
yeah.
So
So
let's do the audience questions. So there's this sort of Kumar asked that if you had not started Confirm Ticket, which business model would you have gotten into?
I don't know. I would have still been a techie, not into any business. So yeah, I because I love solving technical problems and all. I would have been maybe like a techie. I would have been a work. I would have been keep on working. Maybe if not confirmed, some technology solution, we would have keep building something.
Or maybe we ask the question from Jashank, maybe a different way of looking at it. If you had a chance to do it all over again, would you do any? What would you do? What would you do differently?
I don't know. But first of all, taking this is a huge risk. Any startup starting is a huge risk, and we jumped it somehow, and I think so. Unless there is a clear cut revenue model or anything, I wouldn't jump now. Actually, the way I've jumped into confirm ticket, so blindly we jumped. It worked out well. I would say, like, I mean, for 90% people, it won't work out, and
Yeah.
so I'm saying, like, have a clear cut picture of what you are doing and everything, and then you can work on that.
And I'll take one more question from Yogesh and we'll talk about Ixigo after that. But his question is very interesting. Dinesh, if you would have not had the technical background, how difficult would it have been to develop Confirm Ticket? My question is for non-tech founders, if he wishes to build a technical product, right? How difficult is it going to be?
I actually get multiple questions as such. Actually, I would say if get one other co-founder who is a technical guy, and so make sure both give him 50%. Okay, so the most important guy you
So
might feel
important.
okay only technically we will give him 10%. Two business guys will keep 80%, but just stick to 2 co-founders. Two co-founders is the best thing for any business, I would say. Always make sure split it 50-50. Someone might work something lesser, someone might work something higher, but the commitment is the most important thing, because commitment will be like 10 years or 20 years down the line. So always stick to this, that have a co-founder, technical co-founder, and 50-50. Nothing lesser than that.
Low friction. Yeah, exactly. Low friction. I mean, and again, if you need the tech, then he needs to have enough equity in the deal not to leave. Now we'll come to Ixigo. Let's talk about, like, and this is a very interesting deal. That's something you told me before we started the show, but we'll bring that up in the conversation. How did it happen? How did this whole Ixigo conversation take place?
Ixigo actually is, I mean, most important thing I used to do is like more than my friends, I used to always keep in touch with all the competitors actually. So at the same time, actually, all the people in the industry, I'll be in touch actually. Like, so the Alok and me actually we were in touch like past 3 years, and we were continuously engaged in multiple conversations. And over a period of time, they have seen the growth that we had. Like, we were growing like 200-300% every year, right? And once we build this transactional platform, and they have seen our tremendous growth that we have got over a period of time, and they liked the product actually. And that's how it all happened. Like, it evolved, and during COVID we had multiple conversations. And the interesting part for this deal is like we never met during the last 1 year actually. So the entire deal happened only online, and we were actually having daily conversations, and we shared multiple reports, and a lot of things happened. But personally we didn't meet, even though it's a big deal. Personally we didn't meet, so it's only about other things. Like, we had all live conversations online.
You could be India's first M&A done completely online. Did you
But
employ a banker? Like, how did you guys work out the modalities? 'Cause obviously, COVID time could not meet each other.
Alok is a cool guy. So Alok and Rajnish, both of them also built this platform, and they stayed for like 13 years in this, and we felt a lot of synergy there. And so basically, uh, there's a lot of comfort that we had. We felt like, there are a lot of things, even things like which we felt like it's. They also felt the same way. They felt like they have seen us like they are almost like they have seen us like. Right from their early stages, like where they used to be before, they have seen us like that, and they felt like, okay, let's take it forward and all. And that's how it moved. And all the deal negotiations and all we did personally only. There's no banker or anybody involved. And so we made sure what we want and what they can, and a lot of things we negotiated in between. We had multiple conversations with our investors, you, Praveen, and all. But thing is, it's only so the finally it all boils down to the thing, like how is the end goal and all, right? So the combined entity is going to be a pretty good, powerful entity, and we are going to become one of the largest OTAs in India. And that actually works a lot. And at the same time, it's a lot of value creation that happened during this. So we felt like, okay, let's take it forward. And we hired multiple. We had hired some lawyers to take care of all this stuff.
How did it feel when you finally sent the email that all investors have received money? You guys have exits. You guys have made your exits. You made your IRRs. What was that feeling like?
Most important thing is like, for these investors giving, adding a lot of wealth, we actually felt proud of that, right? And one important thing, even now I feel like maybe 10 years down the line or something, when I start next thing, I think when I can walk into one of these investors and ask money, and they'll be happy to give without even asking what you're going to build, right? I think that's
Yeah.
the trust I feel like they'll get over a period of time. And I think it's not going to be a simple 5 year journey or anything, right? So all of us will grow together. Even the investors will grow together in this journey, and yeah, all of us will retire together. So
Looking forward to that, Dinesh. Looking forward to
Yeah,
that. So I think we've had a great conversation, Dinesh. Thank you so much. I think candidly shared what was a very interesting journey. Ups, downs, just like the railway tracks. They go
yeah,
up, they go down, and they go right and left, and you're shaking here and there in the middle of the ride. Uh, but uh, but incredible. Just because I still remember the first trickle of revenue into the company. Like it was when I joined, there was no revenue at all, right? We were just growing, and we kept growing and growing. And I said, okay, now we need to turn on the tap. And I remember the first 1,000 rupees. We were like, what are we going to do with this? Like this 1,000 rupee, 1 week paid 1,000 rupees or something like that. Like, sure, this is really going to work out. But and then then you also 1,000 became 5, and 5 became 10, and 10 became lakhs, and now today crores, and now you've gone from 1,000 rupee a week company to a 3 crore a day company,
yeah,
right? And I'm sure that this will turn into a book someday. You should talk about your journey. I think there was a lot that happened, and some a lot good and some bad, and in building a true Indian company, a true Bharat company, because most of our users are not from the large cities. The Bharat users actually. Definitely one of the first, something you should truly be proud of, you and Shripad both.
yeah. Thanks a lot, Anirudh, for inviting me. Okay.
No, 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 I'm just kidding. Go ahead, finish. I thought you were leaving. I was we have rapid fire. Don't leave yet.
Do we still have that rapid fire or is done?
Yeah, we will have rapid fire. The questions are already. It's right here.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. We can
No, but
have
you were
that.
saying something. Why don't you finish your
Well,
statement?
there's one more person asked, like, how did you build the early team? Actually, I think one of the questions asked this, like, I mean, one of the person, Yogesh asked this, like, how have
Yeah.
you built the early team and all? So the most important thing is like, and majority of the team members, actually, I got it from one of my old friends from online, or all the old friends, we actually pull them in. And most important people at the company are actually my through their friends and all of these stuff. That's how it all started. And we had few important guys who actually came through inbound connections and all. And so because early team is pretty important, because they are the ones who are going to back you or stay with you. These guys, during tough days, they actually stayed. Already they joined at half salary, and they agreed for one more half of that for again 6 months. And that's an important milestone. I think we should not forget them at any point. So that's I think now we are taking care of them very good. So I think they'll be with us for next whatever is how long whatever journey this takes.
No, great. Thank you so much, Dinesh. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll tell you the rules. We've got some new questions now. So
Okay.
basically, we'll ask about 10 to 12 questions in a rapid format. Whatever answer first comes to mind, you just have to blurt it out. And then if it warrants further investigation, we shall interrogate. Right.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. First question: Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and Donald Trump are coming home for dinner. What is the plan?
I don't know, maybe they'll discuss on Bitcoin or
Jeff Bezos can discuss how he's retiring. And Elon Musk can discuss how he's buying Bitcoin. Good one. Second question. One thing, but it's a Peter Thiel question. One
okay.
thing that you know to be true, but very few people agree with you on this.
I don't know. I think the most important thing I would feel is the trust, actually, right? So the trust is more valuable than money or anything, actually, in most importantly in the business, right? So that's yeah, that's the only thing that I can get it,
Yeah.
because
No, it's right. Very few people actually understand how important trust really is,
Mhm.
right? And losing trust, you can't build it back. So it's a very good answer that you've given. When do you get your best work done? Morning or
Okay.
night?
I would say in the post 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock is the best time, I would say, because at 11 to 3 o'clock. I think post that it's all not that much, but I'm like a morning person.
What about so next question? If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why?
I mean, just for the sake of tourism, you can go anywhere, but I don't know. I feel like I love this Bangalore, so
you, you wouldn't leave Bangalore. Oh my God. By the way, this is Kailash Katkarji is the founder of Quick Heal. Thank you so much, sir, for watching us. And, really proud moment for both of us to have you watch us.
Yeah, thank you so much. And one important thing I would say is, if we are not in Bangalore, I don't know if we would have succeeded. Also, once sometimes we feel, because all the investments and all happened because we are in Bangalore, and a lot of connects happened. All good employees came because we are in Bangalore, and that's why I love this city. So for any tech company, this is like the best city, I would feel like.
No, Dinesh. You can't diss on Bombay like that. I don't think the financing would have happened without Bombay, though.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
Yeah, anything. If you're doing anything in the finance, I would say Bombay maybe.
what is the first name that comes to your mind when you hear successful entrepreneur?
Successful entrepreneur, I would say I mean, Narayan Murthy is somebody I actually love, because a lot of wealth he created for the employees. Actually, that's
Very
the
true. Very true.
whenever I used to talk to the first few employees, I used to tell the same story, saying you are going to be in the first few employees. We are going to create a lot of wealth for you, and you should listen about Narayan Murthy stories and also.
No, great. I completely agree. I think he literally, if you look at the number of engineers that came out of Infosys and built companies after that, I mean, it just tells you that there's been a big catalyst. Do you have any favorite failure of yours? Something you feel that you love and you call that your favorite failure?
I think all the funding failures we had, I feel like those are the favorite ones, because if we have raised any of the funding in between, I don't know, we would have got screwed or something. We all our capital down. So a lot of time we fail to raise funds, and that I feel we feel proud of that actually. So because I don't know, we failed, but I think that worked out for us. Like,
Who's your favorite superhero and why?
I am actually a I'm actually a Telugu movie buff. Actually, I love all Rajnikant movies.
So trust me, he's beyond superheroes at this point. So Rajnikant can be counted as a superhero.
So, so I mean, you can say Superman or Spider-Man, all this Iron Man.
Yeah, no,
But for
those
me,
guys, those guys
Rajnikant.
would be mere mortals in front of Rajnikant. That's the real superhero.
So I don't know if anybody would have said that answer, but Rajnikant.
No, it is an original. I promise you that. Rajnikant as a superhero is an original, but I'm surprised no one has said that before. Okay, one piece of advice to founders about fundraising.
So raise only the amount that you actually need. Don't raise so much, and preserve it so much, and you utilize it perfectly. Like, I mean, that's very important, valuable money. You won't get money all the time, but also one more important thing is, like, you will get money only when you have money. So when you have money, people say, take my money, but actually take it. If somebody is willing
Yeah.
to give money, take it. So raise it whenever there is opportunity, and use it wisely.
Yeah, the truth is actually that when you raise money when you don't need it, right? Because when you do need it, it's too late.
Hmm.
One piece of advice you would give to your 18-year-old self.
I would tell him to start up or manage his money better. Actually, I feel like when I look back from 20s to 30s, actually I never managed money better, and I think I actually don't even understand the compounding even till recently. I came to know how the actual compounding works, how bad I am with finances and all. So I would feel like that's the important thing. I think nobody teaches in school and all of this stuff, but I think.
I honestly feel that there should be a wealth manager just for startup founders. This is not just a Dinesh specific issue. I think most founders are not great at managing their own money, and definitely you should have a way to manage it better. Last two questions. One thing. What is one thing you never leave the house without?
Phone, actually, right? So phone is the most important thing these days, and can't go without that.
And of course, you can't have the ConfirmTkt app unless you have the phone on you.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like the basic thing. First thing I woke up in, I mean, in the morning, I just actually read all the reviews, and that's the most important thing that I do in the morning. So before going to sleep and in the morning, read reviews. Like, first important thing is all the one-star reviews. That's the most
Yeah.
important. 5 star, I leave it, and whenever I'm okay, in good mood or in bad mood, actually, I read all 5 star reviews.
Five, 7 years. But so That's a very important habit. You're saying that you read the 1-star reviews first thing in the morning when you're heading to work. And what
So
happens after that? What's the next thing you do after
so
that? Like once you
if there
scroll?
is anything that can be solved, some problems are like normal problems. Let's say he says like, my money is not refunded, I'm waiting. I mean, some people might expect it instantly, and sometimes it might not happen. So we'll say like wait for 5 days or something and to wait the money. There'll be some genuine review saying like, this train. Some reviews will be that can be solved by the team. I forward it to the team in the morning itself so that they can take a look and solve it same time. So I'm such
How
a
important is for your team to know that the CEO himself is reading all the reviews? Does that create an impact on the team itself?
Yeah, definitely. So we also added one more thing in the these days, that every day we listen to one customer conversation actually. So every day we get so many customer calls, right? So we have 35 people in the call center separately getting all the calls, like 3,000 calls they get. So every day one call gets picked, and we listen to that call for 5 minutes. Everybody in the morning 11 o'clock stand up call, everybody listen to that call. And the reason is not only to know customer issues, but it's just that adding more empathy to the even to the normal developer, actually like junior developer also, so that he actually gets connected to the end user, how the actually he wants to use, right?
Wow, very smart. And what is the impact that has had?
So I mean people get emotionally attached if somebody says like, I am unable to travel due to your bug in your app, so they get emotionally
Yeah.
attached and try to solve it as soon as possible.
Very good thing that you're doing. I mean, I think for any consumer-facing company, just listening to one bad phone call in the morning every day, I think that's a brilliant idea. Wow, did you guys learn this from somewhere? How did this come up?
I mean, we just done this experiment, and that worked out. Like, so right from the beginning, we thought. I mean, we had thing when we used to tell team like, everybody just call one customer once in a while, but
Yeah.
that was never happening. Then we felt like, okay, let them not call. We will only make sure we forcefully make them listen, and that worked out.
Last question. Dinesh, 3 books you would recommend to founders?
So 3 books. So it's almost like 4 months I read any book actually. So I've written in a blog like some of the books that I've read. Like one is this 0 to 1 is an important book that everybody should read. And there are so there is one more book like Blitz Scaling. I think Blitz Scaling you should read whenever you hit that pace. Like some of things I've learned at ConfirmTkt and applied Blitz Scaling. And because the example I said is that, right, when you are working very well, just focus on positive things. There will be a lot of things that you need to there will be a lot of customers complaining and all, but you should leave that aside and make sure you move forward faster. And that's what is blitz scaling is all about. Like, how do we set all the process in place, and so that you scale. And recently I'm reading a book like Winning Now and Winning Later. And that's more about like, how do you think for short term as well as long term. And so I mean, there are a lot of important books. I don't think I can suggest so many good books, but uh, I
So those
read.
are 3 really good ones. So Dinesh, with that, rapid fire is over. I know there has been an amazing amount of feedback with many people loving this interview. And thank you so much. I mean, I thank you so much, not just for the journey we've had, but for the fact that you've been able to encapsulate all of that in about 70 minutes of pure wisdom. I think any founder getting started out there, if they just understand your story, you don't have to go out there and raise $15 billion to create a fantastic business. You can
Mhm.
create a fantastic business, 1.5 crores, and make it feel like $15 billion by just
Mhm.
going out there and asking the customer to fund you. When the customer is funding you 3 crore a day, there's no other VC in the world that is required to fund that business. So thank you so much, Dinesh, for your time. Any final words for the people that are logged in and listening in?
I don't know, but thanks for inviting me. Is I think most important thing for any startup founder or anything is like, don't give up. Don't give up so easily. I've seen people who just gave up, and there is an opportunity just next month, just after they gave up, right? So there are always good things that keeps happening. So these are all cycles that you see, and over a period of, I think, prepare for at least 5 years or 10 years if you're starting up, not 1 year or 2 year actually. So be ready to face all challenges, and make sure everybody supports this journey. And that's an important step. And definitely you should
Thank
try
you.
before 40. You should definitely try out something. I would say everybody start something. Let it be, let it fail. So it's okay. It's going to be a wonderful experience actually.
Or like Dinesh, just start dumping data in one place. You never know, in 2 years it may be a business that you make
Yeah,
millions out of. Thank you
yeah.
so much, Dinesh. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for logging in, and we'll be back next week with another guest, with another story, in the continued learnings from the Money Talks. Thank you, everyone.